welcome back to my channel. Mitch McConnell just agreed to a deal which is going to have massive implications on the next stimulus package and potentially Social Security increases as well. So let's discuss the details, but before we jump into it, do me a quick favor where I'm going to be on camera playing bingo live. You can play bingo with me. There's going to be a chat room so you can chat with me, you can chat with the community. We're going to play other games like casino games and even announce lottery winning numbers. So things like that. It's going to be a fun channel and it's going to be another good community where we can all kind of get together, have some fun, and I'm going to be giving away stimulus checks on that channel as well, just as a thank you for supporting my work. So if you want to win some stimulus checks, subscribe to that channel. It's going to be in the comments of this video. And thank you to the 5,000 people who have already subscribed. I should be launching that channel in about 2 weeks. Now, really quick, before we jump into the updates, let's do a quick update on daily trending news. Now, one series I'm doing is what are the best and worst states to retire in across the entire country. Now, we're starting off with the worst states, and it's the 25 worst states. So for 25, it was actually a tie, Massachusetts and Nevada. Those were listed as two of the worst states to retire in. And the 24th worst state is listed as Michigan. Now, this is according to MoneyWise.com, and they say that the name Great Lakes State says it all. Michigan boasts the longest freshwater coastline in the U.S. and some beautiful national parks. Don't miss the sandstone cliffs at Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. But scenery is just one part of the picture. Michigan charges a flat 4.25% income tax on all forms of income. Although your Social Security checks are exempt, property taxes are relatively high as well. So if you're trying to retire in Michigan and you're still working part-time, you're going to pay a high 4.25% income tax on that income. The good news is Social Security is exempt, of course, but the property taxes are really high as well. Now, you also have bitter winters with temperatures as low as negative 20 degrees. Some winters can be so cold that people literally don't leave their house for months unless they have to go grocery shopping. So it seems like a combination of a high state income tax, high property tax, and the bad weather is really the main reasons why Michigan is listed as the 24th worst state to retire in. Now, guys, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. Do you live in Michigan? Are you retired in Michigan currently? And do you agree or disagree with these statements? Let me know your thoughts and let me know where you guys are currently retired in. I always like to know what parts of the country you guys are in, and it's going to be interesting to see where on this list your state falls. Is it going to be one of the best states to retire in or one of the worst states? So subscribe. I'm going to be doing these updates at the beginning of probably like half of my videos. Just it's kind of a fun series. Let me know if you guys like that one. I think it's cool because I'm trying to do daily trending news on things that specifically affect seniors. So, all right, guys, one last update on daily trending news, and then we'll jump right into the stimulus update and Mitch McConnell's new agreement, which is not only good news for the debt ceiling, but seems like it could potentially be good news for Social Security increases and potentially a fourth stimulus check as well. Now, this article is headlined, Reasons for Optimism, Omicron, Gas Prices, and Inflation. So these are the things we've been worried about lately. Is the Omicron variant going to make things worse? Are gas prices and inflation going to continue to get worse as well? Now, let's take a look at the bright side. Gas prices are currently falling. At the moment, although slowly, gas prices are trending in the right direction. So that's really good news, especially for seniors who are living on a fixed income. Now, in regards to Omicron, while it's still early, the Omicron variant does not appear to be as dangerous as public officials initially feared it might be. So we're still waiting for the final decision on this. It's going to take a few weeks, but currently it seems like we might not end up in such a bad situation like experts originally thought, especially because it looks like the Pfizer vaccine giving the booster might actually be really effective against this variant. Now, supply chain kinks, which have been a huge issue, seem to be loosening up and seem to be kind of getting better as things go on. So things are heading in the right direction when it comes to supply chains. So overall, folks, things are heading in the right direction. We just hope these trends continue. We hope gas prices continue to go down. The national average price for gas hit a 7-week low of $3.35 this Tuesday, which of course is still extremely high, especially for seniors living on a fixed income. It is such a huge burden, but this is the lowest price we've had in almost 2 months, $3.35. And signs point to the fact that they should continue to go down. So hopefully this trend continues. Of course, good news on Omicron, and the supply chain issues continue to get better slowly but surely, but things are heading in the right direction. So hopefully all of these things help bring prices down and try and kind of help control inflation, as things have been extremely difficult for seniors this year when it comes to inflation. Now, when it comes to Mitch McConnell, he cut a deal with Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell got a deal done on raising the debt ceiling. Now, a couple of things. Obviously, this is directly good for the debt ceiling and avoiding a government default, which would probably send us into a recession. Interest rates would skyrocket and inflation would get even worse than it currently is. But not only is this directly good for the debt ceiling, a lot of people are saying that it's indirectly good for Social Security benefits and potentially another round of stimulus checks, and I'll explain why. First of all reports are saying that currently Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer, which are the Senate majority and Senate minority leaders, are actually working really well together. And the debt ceiling is just another sign that these relationships are going well, which bodes well for getting other things done, right? So let's recap. Currently, Democrats and Republicans already came together and got a physical infrastructure stimulus plan done, right? They got the bipartisan physical stimulus plan done in a bipartisan fashion with the support from Mitch McConnell. Remember, Mitch McConnell was trying to rally Republicans to get the bipartisan infrastructure deal done and to work with Democrats to get that done, and that actually came to fruition. Then they also came together last week and approved the government funding bill, although only till February they came together. That was also a bipartisan package. Now the government is funded until February to avoid a government shutdown. So there's two massive pieces of legislation that were done on a bipartisan fashion, with Mitch McConnell working with Chuck Schumer to get these things done. There's also reports that they're really close to getting a bipartisan deal done on the national defense budget to fund the military and our national defense. Of course, that's going to be bipartisan as well. And now they've come to a deal when it comes to raising the debt ceiling, right? So a lot of these reports from people inside the White House and inside the Senate are saying, hey, when you kind of zoom out and look at things, how things are going, even though there's so much divide and there's so much narrative and there's so much, he said this, she said that. It's almost like we're watching the WWE. When you zoom out and look at things, they're actually getting a good amount of bipartisan things done. And insiders are saying that it seems like Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer are warming up to each other, and at least currently at the moment, their working relationship seems to actually be pretty good. I mean, think about it. Obviously, we live in a time where things are so divided, but if we have Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer working together on all these bipartisan packages. And again, just to clarify, the debt ceiling package is not going to be bipartisan technically, but they're coming together they're going to vote on a separate bill, which will then change the rules temporarily to allow Democrats to do it on their own. So kind of confusing, but basically they're doing a bipartisan package to change the rules to then allow Democrats to do it themselves. It's kind of a compromise they're doing, but bottom line here, they're working together to get these things done, right? So if they're working together on all these packages, and it kind of makes it seem like, hey, maybe Mitch McConnell is not going to block Social Security increases. Maybe Mitch McConnell is not going to block approving a fourth round of stimulus checks, especially if it's specifically for seniors, SSI and SSDI, and probably VA benefits as well. So basically what we're saying here is we're getting a sense, Washington insiders are getting a sense that, hey, Mitch McConnell might actually be working with Democrats more than we originally thought. Although he's drawing the line when it comes to voting on these things, a lot of these things he's saying, you know what? Republicans won't vote to actually raise the debt ceiling, but we're going to change the rules to allow Democrats to do it themselves, right? We're hoping he does the same thing when it comes to Social Security, right? Because no Republican wants to increase Social Security for the most part, but maybe now they'll say, hey, we'll change the rules to allow Democrats to do it themselves. And maybe they'll do the same thing with a fourth round of stimulus checks. Basically, this is directly good for raising the debt ceiling and avoiding the government defaulting on their debts. And it's indirectly good news when it comes to stimulus and Social Security increases, if that kind of makes sense. Now, this process is a little confusing when it comes to raising the debt ceiling, but usually it has to be done on a bipartisan fashion because it requires 60 votes. Otherwise, somebody could filibuster it. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to create a temporary law, which they're going to need 60 votes for. So, this temporary law is going to need at least 10 Republicans on board, which Mitch McConnell thinks he has the votes. Mitch McConnell is rallying at least 10 Republicans to pass this bill, which would then give Democrats the power to approve the debt ceiling increase with just 50 votes. Now, there's a lot of nuance there. There's different little regulations and laws as to how exactly they're going to get it done. But bottom line here, they should be extending and raising the debt ceiling to last about another 12 months, give or take. And Mitch McConnell is helping Democrats to get this done. Now, the House already voted on that bill last night, and we expect the Senate to vote on it today, this Thursday, as I'm recording this video, which is Thursday, December 9th. So as soon as that vote takes place, I'll keep you guys posted when you know it's completely been signed into law. And we have a lot of updates coming, folks. We have Democrats trying to get this debt ceiling increased to avoid a government default. We also have them working on the next stimulus package, which they've said they're trying to get done by Christmas, and Bernie Sanders is trying to include a stimulus check for seniors in that stimulus package. He wants it to be at least $1,000. Some folks are pushing for $1,400 or even $2,000. And President Biden himself acknowledged the stimulus check for seniors and said, we're trying to get it done, but it could be as low as $800. Now, to clarify, we're not 100% sure exactly who would qualify, but we're assuming it would definitely include everybody on Medicare and Social Security benefits, and most likely everybody on SSI and SSDI as well. But again, the details are not yet set in stone, and quite frankly, to be honest with you, there's a chance it might not even end up in this package, but we're hoping Bernie Sanders gets it done. Of course, Bernie Sanders is really fighting against Joe Manchin to try and get these stimulus checks done, so we should have a lot of updates in the next couple of weeks. As Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi have said multiple times, they're trying to get this stimulus package done before Christmas. Guys, imagine what a great Christmas gift it would be to get a stimulus check right before the holidays. I mean, in a time when inflation is so bad, seniors are struggling, we continue to live on fixed incomes, and it would be so nice to just be able to buy your grandson a decent little Christmas gift, right? Enjoy, buy a nice Christmas meal without stressing about it, just knowing that that money is in the bank. So hopefully this gets done. We had some good news here. Mitch McConnell seems to be a lot more agreeable lately when it comes to either doing a bipartisan package or just not blocking Democrats when it comes to getting things done. So with that said, folks, we should have a lot of updates in the next couple of weeks. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will keep you posted as things develop on the next stimulus package and Social Security changes as well. Now, to end this video, I'm going to leave you with a clip from President Biden talking about the bipartisan physical infrastructure stimulus law and how he expects it to positively impact the economy and positively impact blue-collar workers. So I know this physical stimulus plan does not include direct stimulus checks, but it's going to be relatively good for the economy, and both Republicans and Democrats voted for this package. So if you want to stick around for this clip, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video.
And showcase how our bipartisan infrastructure law, which has changed their lives for the better, came about because we worked together. We can learn more about this law and what it means for your community. Go to build.gov. Look, the better part of the 20th century, we led the world by a significant margin in our willingness to invest in ourselves. We invested in our infrastructure. We invested in research and development, in our roads, highways, bridges, ports, airports. The arteries of the nation allow commerce to function smoothly and move swiftly. And we invested in our people. We gave opportunity. We're among the first to provide access to universal education and high school education at the beginning of the 20th century, which put us in the forefront of leading the rest of the world. We invested to win the space race, and we won it. We led the world in research and development, led the creation of the internet. But we know that China and the rest of the world are catching up, and in some respects, actually moving beyond us. We're also going to reinvest in our country and our people to reclaim our leadership to create millions of jobs by building a better America with the best infrastructure in the world, built overwhelmingly with prevailing wage, union. There's a lot of good and decent people in the finance industry, but they didn't build the middle class. Unions built the middle class. No, not a joke, not a political statement. It's a reality. It's a reality. And look, this infrastructure bill, which without the union's support behind me to get this done, would have never gotten done. It starts with the most significant investment in roads and bridges in America in 70 years, fixing many of those 3,500 bridges, nearly 10,000 miles of roads in Kansas and Missouri in poor condition, like the Central Avenue Bridge, which was closed earlier this year for fear of failure. A similar bridge not far from here going to Kentucky, there was fear of failure, and it collapsed, killing a whole heck of a lot of people. But this created a whole lot of headaches, wasted time for 8,500 people who used to drive it every single day. The decaying roads cost Missouri and Kansas drivers more than $500 per person per year, the drivers, and additional gas and repairs and longer commute times, and more than $500 in tax on Kansas and Missouri families. And speaking of the cost of living, 2 weeks ago, I announced the largest ever release of the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve to increase the supply of oil to help bring down prices. And I met with our friends around the world. Other countries joined us. And those savings are starting to reach drivers now. Today, the average price you're paying here in Kansas City is below $2 a gallon, $3 a gallon. It's down to $2.90 a gallon, 20% down from a month ago. Nationally, prices are down 7 cents a gallon and continue to fall. We're making progress. We're going to keep at it to ensure the American people are paying their fair share for gas, not being gouged for gas. Look, as Manuel said, we're in a situation where we've known that our infrastructure had problems for a long, long time. I don't think I could take one more phrase that's going to be infrastructure week. But guess what? It's going to be infrastructure decade now, man.
Welcome back to my channel. Mitch McConnell just agreed to a deal which is going to have massive implications on the next stimulus package and potentially Social Security increases as well. So let's discuss the details, but before we jump into it, do me a quick favor where I'm going to be on camera playing bingo live. You can play bingo with me. There's going to be a chat room so you can chat with me, you can chat with the community. We're going to play other games like casino games and even announce lottery winning numbers. So things like that. It's going to be a fun channel, and it's going to be another good community where we can all kind of get together, have some fun, and I'm going to be giving away stimulus checks on that channel as well, just as a thank you for supporting my work. So if you want to win some stimulus checks, subscribe to that channel. It's going to be in the comments of this video. And thank you to the 5,000 people who have already subscribed. I should be launching that channel in about 2 weeks. Now, really quick, before we jump into the updates, let's do a quick update on daily trending news. Now, one series I'm doing is what are the best and worst states to retire in across the entire country. Now, we're starting off with the worst states, and it's the 25 worst states. So for 25, it was actually